Hi vinyl community, it's Mike here, and today I'm going to jump on a thread that's really captured the imagination of the vinyl community. And it was started by Chris TheLongCut1The, and it's the top 10 records I listen to the most. And it's not meant to be your top 10 of all-time favourite records, or even the records you think are the greatest, but records that you listen to time and time again, records that you really come back to. And I think it's an absolutely great idea for a thread. And, judging by the number of people that have jumped on this, so does everybody else. So I thought, well, I'll have a go. And first off, 1972, Deep Purple Machine Head. Now, I'm not really particularly into hard rock, but this album, I've been listening to it off and on for the last 50 years, and I still think it's absolutely amazing. So it's only got 7 tracks on it, but it kicks off side 1, Highway Star, then you got Maybe I'm a Leo, Pictures of Home, and Never Before. And then you turn it over, side 2, it's that riff, Ritchie Blackmore on guitar, Smoke on the Water. If you don't know the opening of Smoke on the Water, then I don't know what to say. But anyway, the second track is called Lazy, and then ends with Space Trucking. So, I think this is an absolutely brilliant record that, as I say, I've been listening to it for the last 50 years. Next up, 1971, and it's The Doors, LA Woman. And again, this is a record that I just come back to, and it's not even my favourite Doors album, but it is the one I listen to the most. And I think possibly the reason is that it was the first Doors album that I actually bought. And it's got some absolutely wonderful tracks on it. I mean, you've got The Changeling, Love Her Madly, which I think is really great. Been Down So Long, Car Sits By My Window, and then, the great 7.5 minutes of LA Woman. And then you've got L'America, Hyacinth House, Crawling King Snake, The Wasp, Texas Radio and the Big Beats, and then Riders on the Storm, another 7-minute track. And I think Jim Morrison was an absolutely brilliant songwriter. Great lyricist, and this is a great album, and I listen to it time and time again. Right, third one, 1973, and it's Genesis, and it's Selling England by the Pound. Now, back in the day, I was really, really into prog, and I still am. I don't buy a lot of prog now, but I still listen to a lot of it. And this is the album, the prog album, that I probably listen to the most. And the main reason for that, it's got the absolutely wonderful Firth of Fifth on it, and it's a great track. Probably my favourite Genesis track, maybe my favourite prog track, but that's it. Selling England by the Pound. Number 4 now. This is 1974, and it's Cockney Rebel and the Psychomodo. And back in the early 70s, particularly in the UK, glam rock was a real thing. You've got David Bowie and Ziggy Stardust, and you've got Mark Bolan, all these sort of people, Mott the Hoople, and Cockney Rebel are part of that. And I think the Psychomodo is their best album. And again, it's quite a varied album. You've got some sort of quite upbeat stuff, like Mr. Soft and Bed in the Corner. And that's interwoven with some really quite dark tracks, and particularly Cavalier, I think or Cavaliers I should say, is very, very dark, very, very strange record. It's not really glam at all. But anyway, the Psychomodo, I think this is Cockney Rebel's best album, and I just come back to it time and time again. Next one is another prog album, and this is Caravan, and it's in the land of grey and pink. And this is Caravan's masterpiece. I don't think there's anything else that they've done that has come anywhere near to this. Caravan were part of the Canterbury Sea, and there's not a bad track on this album. Start off with a very sort of whimsical, very English pop psych sounding Golf Girl, and then that sort of moves on. You've got Winter Wine, which I think is probably the weakest track on the album. Then Love to Love You, again, pretty upbeat song. And then in the Land of Grey and Pink, the title track. But really, what makes this album is side 2, 9 Feet Underground. It's a whole side. There's about 6 or 7 separate little tracks that make up the whole. It's 22 minutes and 40 seconds, I think. And that's it. That's Caravan's masterpiece in the Land of Grey and Pink. Now, one of the absolute greats of English folk music, and this is Sandy Denny, and it's an all-star Grassman and the Ravens, and it's her debut album, and it's absolutely brilliant. Again, from start to finish, and I come back to this sort of time and time again. There's Late November and Blackwater Side, the first 2 tracks on side 1. Absolutely brilliant way to open an album. Then you've got the Sea Captain, and then Down in the Flood, which is a Bob Dylan cover. And it goes on and on. And then you get the wonderful poetic title track, All Star, Grassman and the Ravens, and it's just the opening, the opening of this. I absolutely adore it. She sings, they stood upon the deck as the ship went out to sea. The wind it caught the sails and left the land a memory. All upon the shore, for to wonder why the sailor goes, all to close their eyes and wonder what the sailor knows. And it goes on. It's lovely. And Sandy Denny, she was a great loss when she died so prematurely. Right, into the 80s, 1985, on Trevor Horn's ZTT label. This is Propaganda and A Secret Wish. And, this is a German synth pop band from Dusseldorf. And they consist of Claudia Brücken, who's a singer, Michael Mertens, Susanna Freitag, and Ralph Dorper. And it's an album that's really of its time. This could only be made in the 80s. And I absolutely love Claudia Brücken's voice. And also her look. She looks and sounds like somebody who wouldn't be out of place in a 1930s Berlin cabaret. So, the big hit on this in the UK was the single Jewel, which is 2 tracks rolled into one, and it closes off side 1. And again, I listen to this a lot. And now a little bit of reggae, but it's not your usual reggae. This is Third World, 96 Degrees in the Shade, and it's from 1977. And it's reggae fused with a funk and soul. And when I was growing up, when I was living down in the south of England, the local record shop was called Max Records, and Max, who ran it, was a real sort of reggae fan, and he really got me and my mates into reggae. The guy knew what he was talking about. He stocked some brilliant stuff, and this is just one of the albums that I picked up, and it's probably the album that I play the most, at least the reggae album that I play the most. So you've got Tribal War, Feel a Little Better, Dreamland, which is a very soulful song. It's not reggae at all. Then you got Humour Marketplace, rather dark song about slavery. Third World Man, then 1865, and Rhythm of Life. And again, an album that I come back to time and time again. Third World, 96 Degrees in the Shade. Back to the 70s, and Blondie, Eat to the Beat. Again, I play this album all the time. I think it's absolutely brilliant. You know, their the fourth album. There's I think there's 3 singles on here. Yes, Dreaming, Union City Blues, and Atomic. But I mean, I like the title track, Eat to the Beat, and then Die Young, Stay Pretty, which again, it's a song that's been covered by all sorts of people, and I love that as well. So that's Blondie, Eat to the Beat. And finally, an English psych rock or psych pop classic, Small Faces, Ogden's Nut Gone Flake. And you know, this is from 1968. Is the back of it. This is a fairly recent reissue, but it came originally in this sort of round sleeve, and it's a brilliant album. It's, you know, two distinct sides. So you've got the Small Faces playing on one side, the Ogden's Nut Gone Flake side of the album, and I suppose the standout track there is Lazy Sunday, which I think everybody probably knows. But then on side 2, it's a little bit of a story, a bit of a concept. It's a story of happiness Stan and his quest for the other half of the moon, and it's narrated by Stanley Unwin. So I think people of a certain age in the UK will know exactly who Stanley Unwin was. He had his own special language called Unwinese, which was English interspersed with gibberish mainly. And he narrates the story of Happiness Stan in Unwinese. And again, you know, it's an album that I love, and I'll come back to it time and time again. So yeah, it's really good sort of picking these albums out. So thanks very much, Chris, for starting this thread, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.